So, joined by Ellis here. Quick segment because normally we talk for way too long. Where is Kier Starmer, and what is going on? Like I don't know if if someone's got tabs on my phone and he's like, oh, Maggie's saying he's got to step it up a bit because he's actually like done some. He's released a decent video. Obviously he's written the article in the Mail, which people are mixed on because it's the Daily Mail, but at the same time, apparently more Labour people read the Mail than the Guardian, which I thought was surprising. But then I realised actually it's not that surprising because the Guardian segment is still quite small.
Mm.
Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. With the Guardian as well, it's very, I think, highbrow as well. Like at times it's quite a difficult read, whereas the Mail is written quite, I guess, plainly. It's a lot
Keir,
easier to understand. So I guess that
Keir
makes sense.
Starmer
And
bottles it again. It's like that. It's like the footballification of politics, and it's like really simple headlines. And Keir Starmer on the U-turn. But yeah, so anyways, he's written an article in the Mail. A lot of people are like upset by it, but then again, I didn't realize this until today. But Corbyn also did an article in the Telegraph, and arguably the Telegraph are really bad as well. So
mm,
maybe not as bad, but you're splitting hairs at some point. So yeah, what's going on? Like he's not. He's hammered Johnson at PMQs, but now like since the recess, he's gone quiet. Like, is he on holiday? Is he hiding in a fridge like Johnson? Is he on a farm? Like, what's going on? What do you think?
I don't. I'm genuinely lost for words. Like this is like the perfect time for him to come out with the front bench and just lay into the government shambles. It's been consistent every week. It's a new U-turn,
I mean,
and it
like,
just kind of feels like they're letting them. Unless the tactic is they're letting them like implode themselves and they're just going to sit and watch from afar. But you need to be vocal at times. You
yeah,
need to let the Labour voters know that you're there. You're on their side, and
it's
it's
not.
not at the moment.
Especially because he's not popular amongst like a very large group of the Labour Party membership and certain people, and the fact that he's letting them set the narrative of this is going to be the worst recession probably since the 30s, or since 29 arguably, if you want to be like argue over semantics and stuff. And he's not saying well that's on them. He's going for like the rope a dope strategy, but it's just not working.
Mm.
That's what
Yeah,
it feels like.
I think a lot of Labour voters who didn't vote for Starmer in the first place are feeling very alienated. Like the Labour left are a bit.
I mean, like
I think they're a bit
you voted for Long Bailey at the leadership election. How do you feel about this?
I think it's for a lot of Labour voters and members. It's just a bit, especially when it's working class families who are being affected the most. That's your core as the Labour Party, and you're letting them just be dragged through the mud by the Conservative government. And I think a lot of voters are just feeling very alienated. Like I think a lot of people who didn't vote Starmer wanted a reason to not like him anyway.
Yeah, true that.
And but now I think they have that reason. Like they've got that opportunity, and there's such an absence of just party unity at the moment. It's just we're back at square one with all the infighting again, and it's like we're never going to get anywhere.
I mean, I think one of the issues I've seen. Well, there's a few issues I've seen with him. Obviously, you've got he's very quiet. I don't think he was in leadership at the time. Very quiet of the killing of the Iranian general. That was a huge problem because obviously that
Mm.
guy's the general of a sovereign country. You can't do that. You
Yeah,
know, that's the first crisis. Obviously, the coronavirus. He's trying to not look like Captain Hindsight because that's what he's been branded as. But like, who wouldn't want to be the guy who said like, "I told you this would happen." Like, why would you not want to be that guy right now? Where people, because the government narrative is this obviously this terrible pandemic and stuff like that. No one could have seen this happen. It's like, well, if you didn't miss five Cobra meetings at the start of the year, you might have had a clue, instead of
yeah,
being in Barbados or wherever the hell he was, sunning himself.
yeah. And I agree in the sense of it's very easy for him to go, oh well, we should have done this, we should have done that, because people then go, well, you didn't offer any solutions.
That's
But
not.
like you
He's not
said,
offered
you
anything though
yeah,
at
but
all.
like you
Like,
said, you can go, well, you missed the Cobra meetings at the start. You've been an absent leader throughout. That's not going, well, I told you so. That's going, here is a fact about your terrible leadership. Like you can hammer him on things he hasn't done. Like it's not a problem, and I think that's where a lot of Labour voters were sitting thinking, okay, he's gonna absolutely nail him here.
I
and
mean,
it's been a bit like we're still waiting.
yeah, it's like he's set up the line. There's no punchline though. He's just continually monologuing. Like there's no joke. There's no ending
Hmm.
to this. And like there are so many open goals in this. Like the whole like he should make it a point that the government are trying to like put a dead cat over the migrants or refugees coming over from France over to the UK, and
Hmm.
that the fact is like asylum centres are I think closed or very limited, and the fact is they don't have enough judges to do these cases because there's a shortage of judges. Like, bro, if you're a public prosecutor, like you could make a big deal out of the courts. When they say we're the party of law and order, all you have to say is, so why are the courts shut then?
Yeah, yeah. With his background as well, and like you said, the Conservatives brand themselves, law and order. That's his bread and butter. That's his. You can go, well, actually, you're not, because this is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem, and I can tell you that because I've worked in this field, and it's like you have the chance. Like, he's clearly a very educated man. He's very well spoken. He's very well presented. People really want to like him, and I think a lot of non-Labour members, like people who kind of vote, sometimes they'll vote Labour, sometimes they'll vote Tory. They do like him, and he does very well in those regards. But you just need to keep going and get the Labour left on side. Once the party's united, there's no stopping. But the problem is, I partly think the party doesn't want to be united. Like, people who
Yeah,
didn't vote Starmer are just sitting there like, well, we told you so. He's terrible. Blah blah blah. It's like,
I
just
don't
come together. Like,
I don't think he's terrible, but at the same time, like the idea that he's a Blairite is one of the most stupid things I've ever seen. Like he ran
mm,
on two of the most like left wing manifestos since before we were alive. I can
yeah,
honestly say that. I don't know what Michael Foot's manifesto was, but I can tell you it's probably not a million miles away, like policy wise, compared to Corbyn's 2019 or 2017 manifestos. Honestly. And it's just like, like I said to you the other day, I want to believe in, Starmer like the way Yugi believes in the heart of the cards. I want him to be the guy who's going to actually do something. Like when Optimus Prime says Autobots roll out, I want to be there, but I'm just not seeing it. And, I don't want it to be like a cult. I don't want it to be like, oh, Starmer's the guy, and I don't want to hear any criticism of him because that's just stupid. Because when he does make a mistake, like he is now, then you look like an idiot. I mean, like if you're in the cult of Johnson right now, you got a massive egg on your face because this
mm,
man wannabe Churchill's hiding in the bunker. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. Starmer is just he's been a letdown. I think for a guy who was a former prosecutor, he's a bit meh. You know?
I understand what you mean, and I think we're in a very hard situation in terms of, I think it's very easy for him to go, oh, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong. But I think if you do that enough times, people will then go, well, if you're not offering anything constructive,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But I do also think we don't have to agree with the Conservative Party. Like, if they do something good, you know, we can go, the Labour Party supports this motion and we're happy that our campaigning did this. But it kind of feels like the Tory government are going, we're going to do this. And we go, oh, okay, then we'll see how it goes. Like, we're not
Yeah.
on their side. Like,
Absolutely, that's how it feels like. It's like we should, let this kids go back to school, and it's like, well, what procedures are you offering to put in place so the schools are safe? Because you can
mm,
say for kids are like, from what I've seen, kids do spread the coronavirus, and like, not just kids, but also obviously teenagers in secondary school and stuff like that. And when you've got older, vulnerable teachers, what happens to them? Are you going to make mask wearing mandatory? Like, what's going on here? Like, what are the policies you want for in order for schools to reopen? It's not offered anything like that.
yeah, even if he came with like a 10-point plan or something, a 5-point plan of going, okay, it's our duty to get kids back to school. Here's what we, as the Labour Party, think, are the good ideas, and go, okay, this idea, this idea. But it kind of feels like send the kids back to school, and it's like we're shouting to avoid. It's like, yeah, but you need to offer. Like,
Yeah.
we need something to work with. You're saying the kids should go back to school, which is a very precarious topic at the best of times with the current situation. We all want kids to go back to school, but we also don't want people to die
And it's
unnecessarily.
like,
So,
if fair enough, your kid gets it and they feel fine, they can give it to you. I don't think you're immune because your kid has it, because they do spread the illness.
mm.
So you could easily
and
catch it off them.
and the amount of kids who are living with grandparents or
Yeah,
elderly relatives, it's awful. And like you said, a lot of teachers are in the risk categories. Are you going to let those teachers shield? Well, who's going to pick up the slack for them not being in school? It's ludicrous.
I mean, like I sent you like the article, and he said levelling up was meant to be the priority of Boris Johnson's administration. However, many young people have seen their futures leveled down with one clean sweep, which is fine. But the article he shared is so stupid because the headline agrees with Johnson, and most people see the headline. So, this headline goes, Sir Keir Starmer says return to school was moral duty. Boris Johnson says returning kids to school is moral duty. So it looks like they're in the same boat, and I don't understand why he's let the headline go out like this. I just don't understand what he was thinking.
Yeah, you would have thought there'd be a system in place where he writes the article, sends it, and then goes, "This is what I want as a headline," or the Labour press team will vet it and go, "Right, publish it, fine," or "Don't publish it." The article, the headline is misleading, anything like that. But it's like they just kind of went, "Yeah, that's fine." Like your kid on work experience, just kind of gone, "Oh yeah, send it through."
Maybe the old Labour interns doing it, because the actual headline of the article reads, "I don't," and this Keir Starmer writing, "I don't just want all children back in school. I expect it. No ifs, no buts." Labour leader Keir Starmer writes in response after Boris Johnson said return was moral duty. So even the headline's a bit crappy, to be honest. And it's just like, he's saying, it's a moral duty. So they both agree there's a moral duty to send kids back to school. But then he hasn't placed any emphasis on, how do you make the school safe? Especially because even in his tweet, he doesn't even say it. Fair enough, he's got like 140 characters or something like that. But I think he had a fair few more letters to go as a guy, as we're both former uni students, we know how, dragging things out to fill up a word count.
Yeah.
But, you've got extra words there, mate. What are you doing? He could even tacked on an extra tweet onto it if he really wanted to.
Yeah, like making a thread is not a difficult. Just reply to your own tweet and you've got a thread. Like
Trump hasn't figured out yet, to be fair.
No, but I don't think he could figure out how to tie his shoes, let alone type a tweet out. Like,
I don't think he wears shoes with laces for that reason. He couldn't figure it
he's
out.
probably gone for Velcro, strapping them on.
Yo, leave crows alone. Velcro's were OG back in day. So yeah, I mean, the article is mostly fine, but he doesn't offer many solutions, and that's the problem there. All you're saying is, well, you're not very good at your job, and then it's like, how can I improve? It's like, what's improved, bro? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, but I think there's quite a few like nice little quotes. I think that's what people look for now. Like, people want that snappy grab. Oh, this is a really nice quote. I like what he said here, because people, like you said earlier, people have read the headline and gone, "Oh, well, that's terrible," and not read the article. And
We're in the soundbite era, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. We are in the soundbite era. We want short bits of information. We don't want to read, what I think it took, 3-4 minutes to read the entire article, if that. But people don't want that. They just want to go, "Oh, headline, that tells me everything I need to know." Blah, blah, blah. And especially with a lot of Labour members seeing it was from the Mail, I think no one even wanted to click on that link. They just kind of saw the headline and where it's come from and gone, absolutely not. Not our party.
It's for the Mail on Sunday, in fairness. But then again, it's not. If this doesn't go into print, then there was not much point in him sharing it in the Mail. I mean, he could have shared it in like the Observer, which, isn't as seen, I think, as left wing, or at least I don't see it as left wing, or even the Mirror, which is a bit more like a kind of a left version of the Mail, I guess, where it's a bit tabloidy. So I don't like. I know he needs to get these people on, but if this is not going in print, then it doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, exactly. I would imagine a lot of people who read the Mail don't go online. Like, they get it. They want the physical newspaper because they're, just kind of stereotyping. They'll be of the older generations, so they'll want the paper copy to sit down, read, and they need to see Labour leader Keir Starmer says blah 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 in response to government crisis. That's what people will then see that and go, "Oh, that's really good. He's doing well." But yeah, like you said, if that's just going online, it's going into a bit of a null void.
Yeah, it's just a bit. I don't know. Like, I don't know who his advisors are. I reckon he should just sign us up at this point. Probably charge him far less than whoever's got advising now.
God, yeah. I sit and think I reckon I could do double the job for half the pay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think he's just too desperate on looking at opinion polls. But the thing is, he can change opinion polls if he actually does his job properly. That's his job. When they say a manager makes his money by making substitutions, it's his job to convince people. That's how that's his whole thing. And he's just not very good at the moment. He's not like, I expect to see some counter punches, but he's not countering like much. It just looks like he's just dodging stuff. Like, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Like, he offers no solutions. I mean, with the teacher thing, he was like, hit the do the interview circuit, start going on shows. Do you know what I mean? Or start posting videos on your official Twitter account. You've got, how many followers has he got on Twitter? He's got almost 1 million followers on Twitter. Like, get those people like tweeting and stuff like that. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Where has
get
this
it.
guy been since recess?
Yeah,
Honestly, where's he been?
well, you're thinking, get it on Twitter, get it on Facebook, do the rounds, do the morning breakfast shows because they're big territory for gaining votes. Morning
Yeah.
breakfast shows people will love,
And
and
obviously, given that ministers seem to be shook to go on the Piers Morgan thing, Good Morning Britain, just go on there. I'm sure they'll give him a slot easy. He'll get one easy.
oh yeah, because that for them it's a massive thing. Oh, we have the Labour leader, leader of the opposition,
We've
and
got
it's
the
a
lotto.
massive thing
Yeah.
for Labour to go. Okay, our main man is now on, prime television,
One
given
of
a
the
slot
biggest
when
shows
there's
on.
no other,
I mean,
ministers going on.
they're close to the BBC Breakfast Show.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure viewership wise, and then you get all the clicks off YouTube, on Twitter, and it'll get trending. So do that. Like, I don't understand what this guy's thinking. Like, he's doing like what Joe Biden's doing to Trump, where he's just sitting in his basement. Like, that's not going to work here
Mm.
because America have been hit way hard. I think if the government didn't do the furlough scheme, this strategy would have worked. But our elections in what, another 4 years,
Yes,
so that's not going to
unfortunately.
work. Do you know what I mean? We've got another 4 years of this. Like, like the government U-turned on the whole A level thing because they had to. It wasn't down to Starmer putting pressure on them. It was down to A level students going out and protesting.
Yeah, and I think when you see like the situation it's in as well, it's like the kids getting out and protesting, that's good, but we need to remind those kids. Firstly, the Conservative Party was not on your side. These are the next generation voters, so do a massive push to get them on
Yeah,
side.
man. I did this in my video I think yesterday where I put a thumbnail out of is it Philip DeFranco where he's getting hung into some film and it says first time.
Mm.
And it's like
Yeah.
literally the heading goes, millennials when they look at Zoomers getting screwed by boomer politicians. Do you know what I mean? It was so funny, that meme, man. I retweeted it as well just because I think it was one of the favorite, like the best. It's tweet of the year. It's tweet of the year, hands down. Tweet of the year. Like maybe it'll be tweet of the decade, because it's just like it's just perfect because it just makes perfect sense. Like especially the way like he looks in the pictures, like first time is like
Yeah,
it's like
the face.
so yeah, all right. Just to wrap this up, what are your thoughts? So he's had a few crises to deal with whilst he's been the leader of the opposition. How do you think he's done with the refugees? Well, I guess one more to add, Kashmir. He's flopped over Kashmir as well because he's saying that that's an Indian internal issue. It's like, no, it's not. It's an international issue. He doesn't understand international solidarity for one, because he's trying to call Indian voters. Allegedly, but the thing is, right? Are you going to say that about the Uyghur Muslims in China? You're going to say that's an international, that's a China issue? It's just stupid. With like protesters getting locked up in America and like Belarus, you can say those are internal issues for those countries. Like, that's a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it devoids the UK of any kind of international responsibility, which is a dangerous path to take us down.
Because that's part of being on the left is international solidarity.
Yeah, it's about a class issue. We stand with anyone around the world who identifies with our cause, not just our countrymen, but everyone.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, he's failed. He's failed on that. He's done very minimal, I think, on the school thing. I think Corbyn has probably done more based on what I've seen on social media, honestly. What else is there? So there's that. There's the migrant thing he's flopped on because like we're going to talk to France about getting the issue resolved. Is like, mate, offer tangible solutions. Offer to open legal ports of entry for asylum seekers. Offer to help France financially to deal with the problems over there. Greece, France, and the other EU countries that are dealing with massive amounts of refugees and migrants coming over. And make it a point that we shouldn't be the country that's going to go bomb other countries and have no actual plan afterwards of what to do. Because the only way you can actually like do regime changes to do what we did post World War II Germany. If we don't do that, then you're causing a bigger problem than leaving a dictator in charge. Which is amazing to think that Iraq was in a worse position post Saddam than it was during Saddam's time. That's amazing to think that, because Saddam was a brutal dictator who used mustard gas, I think, on his own people. And think that there were people saying, I want Saddam back. That's how bad it became because we had no plan.
Yeah, it's like you said. We literally went, did whatever, and then left. And it's like, but we need to offer solutions worldwide. Like you said, with Greece and then France, like the migrants coming over. We need to offer help.
These problems do come here, and I have so much sympathy for people who are, running away from war-torn countries or countries there's no chance of having a decent life, because most people would do that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I sit and kind of sympathise with everyone coming over here, and I'm like, I can't even envisage what it's like to wake up to to be scared of seeing a plane fly overhead because you don't know whether it's going to drop a bomb or not.
I mean,
I can't even think about what that's like. So I fully understand people want to come over.
There's been a civil war in Syria since 2011. Like, what were we doing in 2011? I think we were sitting GCSEs around then.
God, we would have been. We would have been 15. Yeah, so we would have been getting ready.
Could you imagine that? 10 years ago, instead of us doing like trying to sit GCSEs, we got run away from bombs and regime soldiers and freaking ISIS. I couldn't imagine growing up like that. That's hard. I couldn't imagine living in Yemen where you've got chances are bombs coming from the US and the UK. We're the ones helping to arm a brutal regime with bones full salmon.
Yeah.
So maybe if we stop doing stupid shit like that, and that's something Starmer has not pulled the government on. The fact that we're selling weapons to a vicious dictator. And that's another thing he's failed on.
Yeah, and I think it kind of feels like the Labour Party, in that regard, kind of, it's like they think, well, that doesn't matter at the moment, we're going to focus on something else. It's like, no, everything matters, because you've got voters from, every different race and ethnicity and creed. You can't go, well, we'll appeal to this people. We won't say anything about that issue, though. You need to, even if it's just, people will just see one tweet, condemning something, and they'll go, oh, they're on my side. It's all you need. Like,
but it's like, to say about they don't
want everyone.
It's just say that, look, India have committed brutal acts of brutality, and that the UN needs to look into this.
Mm.
And then, it's going to isolate some people who are, I forgot the leader of their country. God, that Hinduista guy, whatever his name is, it doesn't matter. Modi, Narendra Modi, innit? It's gonna, you might isolate some of his supporters, but then at the same time, like, A, we shouldn't, like, it's very unlikely that they'll vote for us anyways, and B, you isolate a lot of Asian people from the Indian subcontinent because they want to see some solidarity with this group of people.
Mm. And they get nothing.
So yeah, like, okay, so if we go down the list, we've got the Brexit. Brexit is gone. Like, I'm glad he's dealt with it the way he has, which is to say that it's finished, that the issue is over, because it is over. We lost. That's fine. We've lost that one. I'm glad he's not still trying to chase it down, because that will happen next year. He's got to lay some, essentially play some face-down cards where he's got to say that, when it comes to Brexit, that, it's still a stupid idea. He doesn't agree with it, but, the country has spoken, and when it goes wrong, be Captain Hindsight again and say, like, I told you, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he did. He has. You can't say he hasn't, because he has. With with coronavirus, I think he's been okay-ish. I think I can't remember fully how that went with. I can't remember when he was actually taking charge of the party. Was it in like February or something like that?
Around then, I'm sure. I'm trying to think when I voted, but I can't remember for the life of me.
I mean, he's been PMQs has been very good. Constantly going at the government for this quote-unquote world-beating track and trace system, which is still under development in the Isle of Wight, which is a video I need to cover sometime soon. Well, I think I'll probably cover next week. So there's that. So he's been very good in PMQs, but when it comes to like refugees, schools, even helping these students out, I don't like. What would you give him out of 10 for it? He hasn't been in charge for too long as leader of opposition. What would you give him out of 10?
Ooh, out of 10.
Wait. Let me say Robbie. But Robbie.
God. I'm gonna go for a 5.
I think 5 is fair.
I think underwhelming. Yeah. A lot more needs to be done.
I wish we had
some promising signs.
I wish we had a third person who's like, Pamash. I think he's been very underwhelming. I think at PMQs he's been very, very good. He's absolutely bodied. He's bodied Johnson, but to be fair, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do, purely because Johnson's been a monumental mess up this whole year.
Oh God, yeah.
You know that tweet where he's like, "Oh yeah, this could be a fantastic year for Britain."
Oh yeah.
It's been a fantastic year for Serco and his mates who have made money off the pandemic, but for no one else.
Yeah, no, it's been a terrible year for everyone else, but
yeah, it's been terrible for basically. Most people were scared, scared to catch this thing because you don't know how bad it's going to affect you, especially because it can hit Scotty for life as well.
Yeah.
It can mess your lungs up, kidneys, all that stuff. If it doesn't kill you, it can still take time off your lifespan, which is a scary thought in itself. But I think a 5 is fair. PMQs has been good. Refugee crisis been absent. Been really quiet on that one. because I think he's scared of the culture war. Like because obviously that's all the Conservatives play into. Very Trumpian in that regard. The culture war, and I think he's scared to get pushed in it. But I think he's just got to go. You got to get in there.
Mm.
And I think five, yeah, with Kashmir very average. It's very poor response from him. Hong Kong, has he said much on Hong Kong? I can't remember. I don't think he has too much.
I don't remember anything, but I wouldn't want to say
that's not something I've looked for too much, to be fair. So
no, same here. I wouldn't want to comment on something I don't know if he has or hasn't.
That's the internet, man. You got to comment on stuff you have no idea about. Especially since we're guys as well, where we have to comment on books we've never read. What was that guy, the bald-headed guy, Lord? Is it Toby Young? Where he criticised someone's book that I think she was the author and he hadn't even read it.
Yeah, people like him are the
phenomenal.
exact problem with the internet. An absolute moron who thinks his opinion holds any weight.
It was on, I think, as a question. No, it was on one of the daytime BBC shows. He did that, and I was like, "Oh, you're an idiot." But yeah, I just quickly checked to make sure I was recording because I don't want to waste the last 15 minutes of our lives. Always scared, That's why you need a producer, so I can blame them if anything goes wrong. It's the problem with being your own producer and stuff, it can go wrong real quick. But
it's the stress.
Yeah, I think 5 out of 10. I think it's good. I think to improve, because obviously Kier Starmer doesn't actually tell the government how to improve or how to actually fix things up. Should we do the same for him? Or should we just criticise him? Should we just criticise him and leave it?
Yeah, that's us done. So see you in the next one.
He's got the dodge part in. He's got the dodge part in, but he hasn't got the counter punch on. So he's like hitting back. It's like, well, what do you mean hitting back? It's not very nice, is it?
I'll just keep dodging.
He's like, yeah, I shift my weight a bit, and he's like, you're gonna hit the guy back. It's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be called Captain Hindsight. I saw his movement and I countered. That wouldn't be very nice, would it?
He's just tiring the opponent out.
We'll give him some advice. What do you think? How he can improve?
Don't alienate the Labour left. Aim for party cohesion. Do the media rounds, and be vocal. Be confident in the fact that Boris Johnson is a moron. You are clearly more intelligent. Just go for him. You will win.
Given how quiet Starmer's been, I don't know if he's the more intelligent one.
Yeah, well, we hope.
I hope so, because he was a public prosecutor. I think he's got to do the media round, to put some videos out on Twitter and Facebook. You've got a whole media team. You've got a whole staff here. If I can put out videos daily, then you should be able to put out videos at least once or twice a week. Especially because you're a recess big man. Unless you're sunning yourself in some other country. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
but just generate content, because people will see it. It will get exposure. Just get it on.
Literally do 2-minute videos. That's what that guy does. Have you seen him on Twitter, Peter Stefanovic?
Yeah.
That's all he does. He'll do a reaction thing. 2-3 minutes. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah, you can get your point across in 2 minutes, easily.
And he's done that video. Star's part of that video. I think it was today, where it was like Boris Johnson saying we're going to level up the education, and you had Gavin Williamson in there, and then you've got a load of students, A-level students saying my life's been ruined because of these idiots and what they've done. Do more stuff like that. Do more stuff like that.
No, I'd agree.
Literally, he could talk to people in care homes, or he could get some people in the Labour Party to talk to people from care homes, and get the quick clip of who's Matt Hancock saying put a ring around care homes, and then get someone to speak to people at care homes saying we didn't have any PPE, we didn't even know what the guidance was because they didn't tell us. Do stuff like that. Make it known that it didn't have to be this way.
Yeah, so many sound bites and things he can use to then go, well, this didn't happen. Here's why, and that way you're proving them wrong. So
the Labour media team sucks.
They do. They really need to sort it out.
They suck. I don't know. His advisory team are just awful. With Keir Starmer, I get Elizabeth Warren vibes, where his political instincts just aren't there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like
people thought this guy was the winner, but I'm just not seeing it, and I don't have that much faith in him. If he was a Yu-Gi-Oh card, man, he would be one of the shit ones. He wouldn't even be like Celtic Guardian or something like that, man. He'd be some dead card. He'd be like, Sagi the Clown. I think Kyber.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Sagi the Clown vibes, man. It's like, he comes out all scary and that, but or maybe he's a Toon World monster. That's what he feels like. A bit of a joke, isn't it? You put a lawyer into Toon World, and that's what Starmer's coming out as. Because I think Johnson would be Sagi the Clown then.
Yeah, well, emphasis on the clown part.
Yeah, I call him Bojo the Wonder Clown. I find that quite funny, just because he is an. Anyways, yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And 5 out of 10, I think that's a fair grade. I think he's
Yeah,
got time to improve. I hope he does, because we're still down in the polls. Like, can you believe it?
I know.
Can you
Well,
believe it? It don't make sense. Or I don't know.
well, hopefully we get big reaction soon, and
We just
we
gotta
can
hope.
then.
We gotta hope all them students turn up, man. In the next election, we just gotta hope like those guys. They remember what happened to them this year, because a lot of them might not even get university places because
Yeah,
they've already been handed out to a load of rich kids.
yeah. The point is making sure that they never forget.
So
The ones who betrayed them.
you gotta play that. That Halo Never Forget music. You gotta put that on the background, cause yeah, I'm just I don't know, man. I don't know what more to say, to be honest, because I'm just underwhelmed. When Stormzy put that diss track out, still disappointed.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling right now. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like, if this is your best, yeah, then I'm embarrassed.
Well, hopefully we can recap on this in a few weeks, and or maybe a few months, and we'll be laughing at how stupid we were and how right
Yeah,
he got
it's
it.
gonna be great. It's like we finally found Kier Starmer.
Fingers crossed we do.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Always a pleasure.
All right. Thanks, man. Catch you later.
In a bit.